I'm making more money from my crypto than I made from my job this whole year.
It's the same way you have that pocket note. The same way you can have a Bitcoin.
I have my wallet here. Can I pay using this, or is it just a marketing strategy?
You can pay it. I'll give you the wallet and you just pay directly.
I got into it personally because I didn't want to pay taxes when I was investing into stocks.
What's the reason behind criminals wanting to get paid in crypto instead of cash?
If I send you Bitcoin online and it goes to your account, you remove it from your account and you put it into this little thing, the government doesn't know who you are, right? Because when I send it to your bank account is tied to your social security, your name, your address, and all that. Your online account it could be very vague.
Me as a Kenyan here, yes, I'm interested in crypto, but yes, there's definitely a bunch of other Jimmies back in Kenya who also want to get into the space.
Happy New Year to you from wherever you're watching. Hello and welcome to Diaspora Life Show. With me, Pasil Telewa, and my co-host Chris, based in the US. This is in January. As most Kenyans will relate, this means dry pockets for many of us who overspent on Christmas, festivities, and back-to-school shopping. But not to worry, because we got you covered. In the next few episodes, we shall focus on innovative ways of making extra money during these 3 long months of long January. In today's episode, we show you how young Kenyans are making new money via digital currencies, better known as cryptocurrency. So here is Chris with that story.
It's 2017, I'm 18 years old, freshman in college, right? I know about stocks and I know how to make money, but I'm like, this is not fast enough for me. I learned about something called crypto, right? I learned about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Took my hand in it and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. Fast forward 3 years later, right now I'm a software engineer and I'm making more money from my crypto than I made from my job this whole year.
My interest really started, I would say, when I was in college, and I was trying to find a more passive way to make money than just working at Domino's making pizzas. And I understood the stock market, but I saw that the crypto market would be a lot more beneficial to what I was looking for as far as passive income. After I dropped out of college, I went into a boot camp, a coding boot camp, and that trained me to become a software engineer, which I am right now. I met a few friends in there who were also in different fields, but interested in technology. And once we met at that program to become software engineers, we started chatting about some of our interests, and come to find out that they also were interested in cryptocurrency but had never put their foot into it. So us having the technical background, I showed them the ropes, what to do, how to understand it, and now we're actually working together and making quite a bit of money together.
I'm not gonna tell you to just go and buy any random crypto, right? So the reason I'm telling you to write down crypto white papers, right, is because the same way I start a business. If I'm coming to you as you're an investor and I need $1 million from you to start my business, I'm going to come to you with a business plan, right? That business plan is going to say, hey, I want to start a trucking company because there's not enough trucks in the eastern US, right? This is the projected growth of the industry. This is this is that, right? And what I said, all cryptos aren't just for money. They're worth something, but cryptos do a lot more than that. Some of them hold data. So like what I said, a cryptocurrency can hold your medical data, right? And instead of you going to the doctor's office and they have to ask you a million questions, if you could hand them or transfer them a crypto that has all your medical history on it, how quicker does that make your doctor, your doctor's visit? It makes it a lot shorter.
Shorter and more.
Instead of filling out 10 pages of paper, right? If I'm holding onto a crypto, I just gave them all my information and then they can go give me my meds. Same thing at a pharmacy. My crypto can now be my driver's license, my ID, right? So what I'm saying is, when you search up a crypto's white paper, whether that's Ethereum or Bitcoin, it's telling you the fundamentals of this crypto, how it works. The cryptography side of it. How is it secure? How is this more secure than the other cryptos out there, right?
So what it's like when you're researching stock, for example.
Exactly. You're seeing what is this company doing.
There's a stock prospectus which tells you.
Exactly. So that's the same thing. When you search up a crypto white paper, it's you understanding, okay, yes, it's a crypto and it's worth 20 cents, but that doesn't mean anything to me. How is it going to increase in value? For one example is like Cardano, right? That's one that's made me a lot of money. The
How
reason
much
I'm,
money?
huh?
How much?
I won't go into numbers.
How many zeros?
Huh? Too many. But but Cardano for me, right?
Yeah.
I learned about it like I would say a year and a half ago. One reason I put my money into it is because it was more efficient. Because at the end of the day, when I'm sending you
So
something
what's
digitally,
that? Car?
Cardano,
Yeah.
CARDANO.
My name is Jimmy, or James Charu, and I'm 22, currently working as a software engineer here in Delaware. I work remotely, and I got into tech really early, which is how I found cryptocurrency. I went into college wanting to be an architect. I was more so into design, and then one of my professors suggested that I should get into technology, software engineering and everything. A little further into the school year, 2-3 months in, I joined a few clubs, rugby, and I also joined a business investing club. So I had a little background on how to invest in the stock market, how to purchase shares of companies, a little bit of that from my older brother. He had purchased books years before. And when I was young, I think about 12, 13, around that age, I would pick up a book, read it, and try to understand what was going on, right? So I get to college, and now I'm in this club, and pretty much the school is giving the students a lot of money to purchase shares online, and that account was fully for the students. Whether they lose money or they make money, it was up to them, right? I was really interested in it, but then at that time, I think I was 18, and I was looking at the barrier for me to actually get into stocks and the stock market. Having a brokerage account and all that, it was just a lot of overhead stuff that I did not want to deal with. And also, I didn't like the fact that with the stock market, you have 9 to 5 o'clock. So then I came across cryptocurrency, just surfing online, and learned about something called Bitcoin. At the time, I looked at it very vaguely with a very minimal understanding of what it was, and I saw the resemblance. I was like, okay, I understand stocks, but there's this new thing called crypto, specifically Bitcoin. So I was like, you know what, I'll take my shot at it. When you hear cryptocurrency and you hear that this currency is now digital, it scares a lot of people because they're like, I can't see it, I can't touch it. But the way I try to explain to people, I'm like, when you swipe this card, right?
Yeah.
What are you swiping? It's a plastic card.
Yeah.
And the money you're spending is digital.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as when you're spending cryptocurrency. It's the same thing as when you're spending your digital money through your debit card, right? Now, just to explain how cryptocurrency works, the best way I could put it is this dollar right here, you can see it has a barcode on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you hold it up to the light, there's water stains inside it.
Yeah.
So that's a form of security that the US has printed into their money to make sure that nobody can just go and copy it.
Yeah.
That's why I can hand you this dollar and you
Yeah.
trust that it's not fake, because
Yeah.
even when I hand it to you, you
Yeah.
can hold it up to
Can
the
I
light.
have it, please?
Yeah, you
thank
can hold it up to the light.
Thank you.
Even with the, I have a few other bills here. Like with the 20, you can see it's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's on
yeah.
every
Yeah.
type of currency that they print, right?
That's right.
So the reason we trust this is because we know that it's backed by the US government.
Yeah.
We know that nobody's out there printing multiple $20 bills.
Yeah.
And the reason we trusted this is because we understood metal had value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now when you move into the digital space, you still want to have that security.
Yeah.
Without security, a currency is not accepted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A currency is only valuable because multiple people decide that, you know what, we're gonna agree that this has a form of value. Multiple people, 300 million people in the US agree that this is a $20 bill.
Yeah.
And that if I hand this to them, they'll be able to hand me something back worth the same in value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now we get digital, and rewind 2008, somebody creates something called Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And it falls under the category of cryptocurrencies, right? And just to break that down, we've already discussed what a currency is,
Yeah.
right? It's a form of tender to trade value. Now, when you add crypto in front of that, we're just talking about cryptography, right?
One of the reasons why people are reluctant to join that community is how secure is it?
Okay. Yeah, security, that's definitely, that should be the biggest concern when you're talking about currency because everybody wants to have their money secured, right? And just to go back to the examples, when we had coins, you would secure your currency by taking care of it. Make sure nobody breaks into your house, steals from your pocket, same thing. When we got to cash, It was the same thing. It's a matter of, hey, just make sure there's cash because this is what holds the value, right? But then we also have our digital money in nowadays, and that's in the form of banks, credit cards, debit cards, and all that. And with this, we all know how important our debit cards are and how we're very cautious of where we put our credit card information and all that. So that's a form of security that we take by us having the debit cards, right? But most of the security is already done for us through the banks, right? If I lose my debit card and I see some fraudulent charges on it, I'm calling my bank and they handle that.
Yeah.
They can shut the card down.
Yeah.
So we've kind of put a lot of the powers and the task of security into the banks.
Yeah.
And when you get into crypto, it's kind of taking that back into your own hands. Because whenever I swipe this debit card, my bank has a transaction of it. They can see exactly where I spent it, what I spent it on. And some people may want to be more private. So that's another thing. With security, you might want privacy. So yes, my bank secures my money, but then it's not as private because they know everything that I'm spending it on.
So a quick question. What's the reason behind criminals wanting to get paid in crypto instead of cash?
So that's actually a funny question that you asked. I got into it personally because I didn't want to pay taxes when I was investing into stocks. And I was like, hey, this crypto thing, it's decentralized. They can't see what I'm buying. I'll buy it. This was back in 2017. But the reason why criminals love cryptocurrency is because if I send you Bitcoin online and it goes to your account, you remove it from your account and you put it into this little thing, the government doesn't know who you are, right? Because when I send it to your bank account is tied to your social security, your name, your address, and all that. Your online account it could be very vague. And once it comes into here, let's say I put my Bitcoin in here and I hand it to you,
yeah,
the government has no idea that I've given you a Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's worth 30,000.
Yeah.
Same way I give you cash, they
Yeah.
can't track that transaction,
Yeah.
right? But then when you also go into crypto, it's not the wallets that are online, they're not tied to your name. So that's why criminals love it.
Yeah.
Because they can send it virtually, it still holds value,
Yeah.
because people have agreed that, hey, Bitcoin has a value.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it sends instantly and doesn't have to go through a middleman. That middleman, your bank, is what gets the criminals caught.
Do you use it only if you have money, or can you use it to make money?
Yeah, so essentially it's a currency. It's the same way your dollar is online.
Okay.
So sitting by itself, it's not going to do anything. But because cryptocurrencies are new, they are increasing in value. So yes, you will make money by just holding crypto, depending if you invest in the right one. But that's going into there's a long rabbit hole of cryptos. Some of them are not just money. Some of them are there to hold data. So like, let's say I create a crypto that can hold all your medical data. That's another form of crypto. It might not be a currency, but it's still a cryptography token, right?
Yeah. So there's also this people conflate this online doing business, especially through the stocks and crypto.
Yeah.
What's the relationship, or what is how are they connected?
Okay. So I would say that they're connected because they work in a similar manner. They hold a value. They're individual, itemized things, right? And with the stock market, each stock is tied to a company, and each crypto is tied to essentially itself. But remember what I said, cryptos aren't just for currency.
Yeah.
Some cryptos can hold your medical data. Some cryptos can hold, let's say, some private information about me, and I can send that to you securely without it going through any other middleman. So does that make sense, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So some cryptos are meant as a currency, and the other ones that aren't, they're known as NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So like we could refer to them as that instead of cryptos, right? Because I want to differentiate that. So with this new thing coming out with non-fungible tokens, like I said earlier, you as a cinematographer, if you wanted to take a nice picture or video and sell it digitally without it being replicated, you would put it into an NFT. It's the same concept as a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. It's just that now it's holding data. That's your picture, your video, or whatever you want to put on it. Central banks in other foreign countries are already starting to create their own digital currency. So the same way right now, the only digital dollar we have is through like US banks. Now let's say we go to Europe, they're trying to create a digital euro. That way your digital euro can also go on this, and your digital euro can also go into the same account as your Bitcoin and all that. So what does that tell you? If the central banks are seeing the times changing, they're like, okay, we can't stop these crypto guys, right? Let's join them.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now in the space.
So how are you going to get rich through Bitcoins?
I would say I'm already on a good path from it. I'm not going to talk numbers, but to give some perspective, I learned about it in 2017. I got into it, made some smart investments, and kind of put it on the back burner to focus on becoming a software engineer until then, right? So now I'm a software engineer, earn a pretty good income, and this year alone, my crypto has made me more than I'll make from my job. Yeah.
Wow, so it's serious.
Yeah. Serious enough that whatever hours I put in to my job this year, my crypto's already made me more. And that's from making smart investments. So that's the next thing I also wanted to touch on. Yes, the whole crypto space is growing very fast, it's getting very popular, but there's scams with everything that comes. People used to print fake money, people are gonna make some cryptocurrencies that really have no value. So my best advice would be to be very cautious before you get into this space. I'm not trying to scare people, but it's the reality of anything you get into, there's gonna be scams. There's gonna be people who try to take advantage of it and people who go about it right?
Yeah.
So the big names you hear, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are trusted. There's a reason why they're big and everybody talks about them, right? Those are safe bets to put your money into. But then you get into some of those other newer coins that are coming out and this and the other. I would say they're called white papers. Just like a business has a business plan that they go to investors with. When these cryptos are created, they have something called a white paper. Go read that, look at their project, look at what their intentions are with the crypto, what they plan on doing, what markets they plan on entering, and that will give you a good understanding of whether this is a good investment or not.
This 22-year-old Jimmy seems to know a lot about cryptocurrency, a topic I know a lot of people are curious about yet struggling to trust. The risks are also extremely high. As you know, 1 Bitcoin is equivalent to 6 million Kenyan shillings. Yes, 6 million. So you can imagine what making a miscalculated move means for investors. Today we keep matters finance and investments. If you just join us, my co-host Chris was talking to Jimmy, a young man who says he has made more money dealing in cryptocurrency than all the money he has ever made selling pizza at Domino's. We also talk to experts about the risks and gains of investing in emerging digital currencies. To bring this story closer home, Chris traveled all the way to Nyeri County for a chat with Betty's Place restaurant owner who accepts Bitcoin as a mode of payment.
I've been running this restaurant from 2017, November 2017 to date.
When did the interest in cryptocurrency start?
Okay, I'm a person who likes digging deep also on the current trends. That's why in my adventures, just online, that's how I came around the cryptocurrency as a concept. So as I was digging, I also got interactions from friends who came with some introducing MLMs, that is the multi-level marketing. Introducing, it was somehow based on the same concept of this new currency. So I was digging deep in it on my own personal level. Then now it becomes I'm interacting with some people who are also talking the same language, but not exactly the same. It's a multi-level company. They were selling, but they were also linking it to Bitcoin. So that's how every other aspect and every other company, they come in that if you want to get Bitcoins, you can get Bitcoins through our company by introducing people, and then you're paid bonuses. Then through the bonuses, you can convert them to Bitcoins. So from that, I got into the same, because you see, we are all Kenyans looking for something better.
Yeah.
So I also got into the same multi-level marketing, and in one way we got something small, and other way we lost actually. So that is how I decided to take it in a point of view that I did not lose, but I learned. So that's why I got deep interest in cryptos, so that I could be able to learn how to unmask these MLMs and how we can be able to exactly know where to invest and not fall into the same traps, because I have fallen into those traps not once or twice, but several, until I was able to learn how to not fall again into that. And also I can be able to bring the people I interact with so that they can get out of the same. I mean, you know, once you fall once and you fall twice, you fall thrice, you should not fall the fourth time.
Yeah.
At least I should learn something from all those falls, so at least you can be able to learn. So that was my major interest, to learn and to get all information that I could be able to get, so that at least I can be able to enlighten those guys who are around me, and so that we may not lose again. Because actually I lost substantially.
In fact, we'll talk about that, but since we're talking about learning, because cryptocurrency is a very new concept, like I said. So for those people right now who are watching you and they have no idea what cryptocurrency is, what would you define cryptocurrency as?
How I try to explain what is a Bitcoin, I start from what they know. You start from known to unknown.
Yeah.
The known thing they know is Boca Point. So I ask, have you ever seen a Boca Point? No. But how do you look at it? How do you know that you have Boca Points and use them? And you redeem them to get either a phone or go to the supermarket and you buy. How do you get that? So once they explain, so I start from that. I tell them, Bitcoins are also the same. They are like Bitcoin. They are like They are like Boca Points. It's only that they are not owned by a person. You can only have a share of it, but you cannot own it fully. You cannot have a legal. There is no one who have a legal tender of that. You can only have. You can interact with it, but not own it like you have. It is mine and mine alone. So what happens is the same way you have that Boca Point. The same way you can have a Bitcoin, but have a share of it. But you can send it from peer to peer, from a person to person, and you can buy seamlessly. You don't have to see it or to carry it with a bag. It is very safe. You can send it from one person. You can buy from anywhere in the country, whether or in the world actually, not even in the country. In the world, you can buy a car. You can buy anything. These days, you can even buy a land, digital land, virtual land, via Bitcoins or via cryptocurrencies. So that's how you try to bring it in until they understand what is the concept. It is digital money.
Where did you get the courage to to delve into this one?
I was a new business person coming into Nyeri. So I decided to kill two birds with one stone. I decided to preach the gospel that I know to the people I'm going into, but also use the same leverage and the same concept that I can also market my business with it. I needed to bring it out. There's no one who knew who was talking about Bitcoins. Yet there are some people under the on the background. Some people, they know about it, but they never come out to speak about it. But I also wanted to bring and also attract the people we sing the same gospel in this new town. So those were my two, like whatever was in my mind when I was bringing it out. So I decided, let me accept Bitcoins here. For one, guys who know it, I'll be able to know who in this town knows the same thing as I know. Number two, I'll also be able to bring information to the guys, to the young people who are around here. They'll know what are Bitcoins. It's not something that it's not a dish that you serve on the table for people to eat. It is money. They also need to know, to open their eyes and see that the world is changing so very fast, and we should not only think about the traditions or the things that we know traditionally, but we should also think about, we should have a different perspective of how the world is going. Because now we are in it's a global, you can call it's a global wave. And if you stick to whatever you knew your grandfathers and your fathers used to tell you, you still remain behind. So you need to move with the trends as they move. So I also needed people to realize and to capture that it is us. It has to come from within us to get to where we are going. Because it's not only that we have to be brought, the Wazungus have to come and bring us concepts, but we have to move with the same trend as they are also learning, because you also understand that this is a concept that is new with everybody. So we have education that is bringing us at a common level. So we need to move together and not wait for someone else to come and give us the gospel.
I hope you've learned one or two things about digital currency and you can boldly explore ways of tapping into this venture and probably some more money. But always remember, when the deal is too good, you gotta think twice. So better invest wisely. That's all we got time for today. Thank you for watching Diaspora Life. You can catch all our previous episodes and other great shows on Standard Flix app. See you again next week, same time on KTN News. I've been your host, Pasil Telewa. Have a fantastic week ahead.
This is the statement from IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati on the upcoming elections. And these are highlights that affect Kenyans living abroad. The statement says in part, diaspora voter registration will begin on January 21st and close on February the 6th, 2022. Kenyans living abroad will only be able to vote for president. The United States, South Sudan, Canada, Qatar, UAE, and Germany have been added to diaspora voting locations. Voting will take place only at embassies, high commissions, and consulates in these locations. Also remember, our biometric voter registration kit, commonly known as BVR, will be available at Anniversary Towers located in Kenya for Kenyans living abroad who are currently in the country. They can go there and register to vote.